Morning, everyone. Morning, morning. Oh, that coffee's needed. That coffee is needed. Oh, good morning, everyone. Good morning. How am I? I am tired. I am tired. These early mornings, guys. Oh. Whose bright idea was this, eh? At least mix it up. Come on. Think of us. Think of the children. Think of us Europeans, please. To start this season. Sorry, I know people who are tuning in right now, the majority of you, are thinking, shush. I get 20 odd races a year where it's in a reasonable time of the day for me, but hey ho, I'm British. It's what we do. It's in our blood. We complain. Welcome everyone though. Hope you are good. Yes. 10 seconds, I think, just over 10 seconds until FP1 here at Shanghai gets underway. Let's see how it fares. Oh, Anthony Davison thinking that's always good to hear, that my predictions aren't completely gone with the wind. He reckons Ferrari will be a genuine threat here this weekend. Very different circuit, of course. As we are go for FP1. Nice. Nice. We meet again. Good to see you, Eric. Welcome, everyone. Ming, Max, Greg. My friend is sending photos from trackside in the airport on the way to join us tomorrow. Oh, lovely, Greg. Have an amazing weekend. I've heard it's a brilliant track to be around. I've watched a few videos from people who have been. I mean, yeah. So I think it's like one of the largest paddocks on the calendar. But there's like a lot to do there. Why is the Macarena wing not mentioned in the FIA team upgrade documents? Is it not void? I'm surprised about that if that's the case. Oh, we've already got an Aston Martin out there. Go on, Alonso. Looks like it's a harsh shirt today. Yeah, it's not quite a shirt. It's actually a hoodie. Which, of course, you can get 15% off if you use my code. And or the link in the description. What is even going on, Shroud? Well, the session has just got underway. Less than 2 minutes, 1 minute and a half. 90 seconds of FP1. So for some reason, the speedometer isn't working. Is that by design, Formula One? Is that by design? They don't want us... Are they now... They've been hiding replies this week on their social media posts. Are they now hiding the speedo of these cars, not wanting us to know exactly how much they're going to clip? Are they going to that amount of lengths? Oh, as we saw a lockup for Franco Colapinto there. Oh no, Franco Colapinto just had a spin, ladies and gents. Franco Colapinto just had a spin and had to spin his car around, as Lando Norris has also gone round as well, I think. Turn 10. Lando Norris is pointing the wrong way as well. What's going on with Lando Norris? These guys are literally on their outlap. What has gone on? Oh no, it's just his transponder. No. What? Is there a transponder issue? Yes, there's definitely a transponder issue for Lando Norris. Oh no! Franco Colapinto just had the spin. Franco Colapinto just had the spin that Max Verstappen had last week in Australia, except at a much lower speed, and it wasn't that. Franco, that's exactly the same thing that Max Verstappen had at the end of the start-finish straight in Australia. So we've already seen that. You just watched free ads. You'll only get ads on the. You'll only get ads when you join the stream. hopefully we don't see any more of that. Our team's going to turn their engine more in FP1 as it's a sprint weekend. We should see push laps, yes, because we've got a yellow flag. Hamilton. Oh, no. Oh, has Hamilton gone round? What's he done? Was Lewis just gone round? Lando and Lewis have just made contact into the last corner. Oh no, what are they doing? What are they doing? There's a bit of carbon fibre that's come off a car. I don't know if that's Lewis's or if that's... I don't know if that's off of Lewis's car or if it's Lando's car. Lewis has got floor damage. Lewis has got floor damage. Oh, Lewis went round. Mate, we've had literally... Okay, so Lewis is... Oh, the Macarena wing already causing havoc, maybe. Oh my goodness. Brakes locked up. Or, no, is it the rear wing? It's not the rear wing. So we've seen, just now, we've just seen Colapinto. Thankfully, there's a lot of runoff here at Shanghai. We just saw... We saw Lewis go round, and we've seen Colapinto go round as soon as they've touched the brakes. My goodness, my goodness. Well, you know what you can do, Terreo? You can pause this live stream. It's the beauty of YouTube, is that you can pause the live stream and sync it up with your TV coverage. So you see that timer at the top left-hand corner of your screen. You can sync that up to the timer on the TV coverage. Is it a wet track? No, it's not a wet track. It's exactly what we saw, and there's a lot of transponder issues by the looks of it as well, which is not great for us. There's a lot of drivers going the wrong way, guys. Come on, F1, sort it out. We've got no speedometer. There's definitely no speed. That's not just me. So lots of transponder issues. This is a great start to the session. We're not even 10 minutes in. We're not even 10 minutes in, and we've seen Franco Colapinto touch the brakes just like Max Verstappen did into the first corner at Australia and go round on himself. We've just seen Lewis Hamilton have exactly the same thing as well, and Lewis Hamilton make contact with Lando Norris, and there was a definite yeah, so that's not going to... And then we saw, Lando Norris lose a bit of something off his car, or was it Lewis Hamilton who lost a bit of something off his car? I don't know. They've mentioned the halo winglet for Ferrari, but not the rear wing in the car presentation submission document. Maybe because it's not an upgrade, an update, because they'd already... Maybe because it was already seen in... Bahrain testing, so it's not technically a new part. The FIA are already aware of its existence. Maybe that's why. Is it due to much regen causing lockups like with Max? Exactly, Daz. Yeah. It's exactly the same reason. Is Ferrari using the upside down rear wing as it's only free practice this weekend? Yes, they're both using it. Yeah. Yeah, the Macarena rear wing, or the flip-flap rear wing is what Lewis Hamilton called it. So watching a replay of Lewis as to when he went round on himself. And it was just as he... I wonder if it will be... Is it... Oh, it was literally... It's difficult to understand if it's because of the Macarena rear wing closing and the rear lost stability, or if it was because of the regen to the rear of the car. Not entirely sure. Is there any difference in speed right now? What, with the rear wing? Well, we don't know. They're supposed... Oh, they've reset all the speedometers. This is a bit of a chaotic start at Shanghai, to be honest with you. We've got multiple transponder issues. We've had Franco Colapinto go round on himself. We've had Lewis Hamilton go round on himself, exactly like Max Verstappen did, Max Verstappen-esque, but at much slower speeds down at the start of this session. We've had Lando Norris and Lewis Hamilton actually make contact in practice, as the incident has been noted for Norris and Hamilton causing a collision. And Kimi Antonelli and George Russell are setting fastest sectors at the moment. So Kimi Antonelli about to come around the last corner here. Let's see what time he's going to set. Oh, we have a VSC deployed. Oh, we're not going to see that fastest lap. So is there debris out on circuit? Double yellow in sector 16. So that's the last corner. Why is there a VSC? What is going on? It's too early for this. It's too early. The caffeine hasn't even kicked in. Why is there a VSC now? Is it because there's debris from Lewis Hamilton? I wonder if it's because there's debris from Lewis Hamilton and Lando Norris's little collision. I don't know. It's the only practice as well. This isn't good for them. No, it could cause an absolute... It could cause, yes, absolute chaos and carnage when it comes to sprint quali later. I mean, one thing for sure is that Mercedes and that seem to be quickest. Yes, it is because of debris. There is some debris out on circuit. Where is that? Got a couple of marshals just nipping out on track to gather it up. Right, it's been removed. It's been removed, so it should be all good to go again now. There we go. Yeah, VSC ending, green flag, and we are back underway. By the way, Carlos Sainz, only one lap thus far. Oh, Gabriel Bortoleto had the same thing happen as well. Oh no, Gabriel Bortoleto locked up the rears. So it seems to be, I don't know if there's, maybe it's car error or not, but there's clearly, when the rear wings are closing, when the rear wings are closing down into turn 6. Oh, Hadjar getting absolutely furious on the radio with some traffic. This is an interesting practice session. We've only gone just over 10 minutes in, but it seems to be something. So when the rear wing is goes back into an open to close position down into turn 6, the drivers, when the rear wing actually closes at the end there of that straight mode zone down into turn 6, there's something there that is causing, that transition is causing the cars to really lose a lot of stability. I don't know if it's because of the wind direction at the moment. I mean, the wind is, what, 9.4 kilometers an hour, northeasterly wind. So it's definitely catching them out. I don't know if it's the regen or if it's just that transition with the aero, but hope Mercedes isn't really 0.5 seconds faster than Ferrari. Well, too early to say yet. Too early to say. Lewis Hamilton's driving around on flat spot tyres, by the way. So he's not particularly going to go quick. And they're going to be doing different run plans. This is only an hour-long session. It's the only practice session that we have. And they are going to try and fit as many kind of run plans in an hour that they possibly can, as well as trying to figure out setup as well. No further action for Lewis and... Oh, yeah, no further action for Lewis and Hamilton. It did seem a bit innocuous. It just seemed very silly on both their parts, to be honest with you. Yeah, Antonelli going for purples, by the way. He's 2 temps quicker. He's 3 temps up on his teammate here in the first and second sector. Lewis Hamilton up to 7. We have another yellow flag. And we have another yellow flag down into turn 14. I don't know if that is Lindblad actually stricken down there or not, because the transponders have been really causing havoc. Is Lindblad actually at a standstill? Carlos Sainz still not out there. He's only done 1 lap. Is Lindblad actually stricken? As Ollie Behrman goes up to P2. Antonelli, though, about to go up to P1. Oh, no, P2. He said to slow down because of the yellow flag. Oh, Lindblad is... Oh, no, Lindblad. Lindblad is actually off. So Lindblad is parked. I don't know why his transponder's here, because he's actually here. He's actually gone... He's actually here. I think that's a bit of an... I think F1's having a bit of an exaggeration there. Lindblad's parked his car well out of the way. And it's at the hairpin. And there's no way that would ever have a collision. But we have another VSC, and this seems a bit overkill. But I don't know why. I don't know why they are. I don't know why they've deployed a VSC there. A yellow is more than sufficient. But Lindblad has come to a stop, unfortunately, and that, after a great start in Australia, is not going to help him in his preparation for this weekend, because the only practice session that we have, Lindblad is out after 15 minutes. But conspiracy theory time, though. I think the FIA have blocked us from seeing the speedometer. Oh, there's smoke coming out of the airbox. No, where's that smoke coming from? There's smoke coming out of the... there was smoke coming out of the RB. Don't mind one team dominating a new regulation set, but I mind having to see Toto look so smug every weekend. Yeah. What is the choice of tyre for the sprint race? Medium tyre probably. Won't be the soft tyre. China is a bit harder on it. China is a lot harder on the tyres than what Australia is. That's why we're in the middle range. What is going on with these transports? There is so much that is going wrong with this practice session. Jesus, come on. Get it together. We've got no speed. We don't know what the speeds are doing. Well, we do know what speeds they're doing, actually, because I've got the speed trap here. While we've got a VSC, we have got the speed trap. And Ferrari are quickest. Stop it now, the Macarena wing. Ferrari's quickest in the speed trap. I mean, we do have speed, but I don't know why the speed isn't actually working on the timing screens. Only 320, exactly. So only 320 means that they are some way off the fastest pace that they can do. Mercedes 316 as well. So Hamilton 316. So there's a lot to gain. I'm the only one that believes the Ferrari livery looks good, great on track. No, you're not the only one. I really like the Ferrari livery. Why do we have a VSC, by the way? I'm gonna maybe if someone spun there, but I mean, it still seems the VSC is overkill for this. But the marshals still haven't touched his car. So clearly they don't think that car is safe to move. Of course, with a lot more electrics in this car now, and more electric deployment, they don't want to touch that car in case of it being unsafe and them getting there you go, Marshall's on track at turn 14 now. I mean, Marshall's on track is a bit incorrect because they're not technically on track, but can I refresh the page to see if it fixes it? I can. I don't think it will sort the issue out though. I'll take a few seconds quickly. No kilometers. No, I don't know why it's not coming through. But it's understandable, I guess, because we've got transponder issues. The speed is being tracked, but not live, like a live position. And that's clearly... I mean, we've got issues with the transponders at the moment. I mean, you can see them just shooting off screen and stuff. It looked like that we had drivers going backwards earlier on, so... I wasn't impressed at the beginning, but the Mercedes livery is growing on you. It's all right. It's all right. They are flying off the track at the moment. Yeah, they are for sure. Right, so we are green, back underway. Gee, I can't believe how much has happened in just 20 minutes. Not less than 20 minutes. We've had Lewis Hamilton go round. We've had Franco Colapinto go round. We've had car contact between Lewis Hamilton and Lando Norris. We've had Arvid Lindblad break down. We've had 2 VSCs. I mean, they've only got 1 hour. The magnetic poles have shifted. Isn't it super late for me? It's super early, Taco. I've been to sleep already. Yes, it is 10 to 4 a.m. in the morning. Obviously, with it being a.m., yeah. And then I will be going back to sleep for another few hours, and then up for the sprint quali, and then I'll be straight, as soon as sprint quali ends, I'll be straight into my working day at home. The Aston Martin livery is the best thing Aston Martin has going for it, yeah. Well, update on Aston Martin. They're out on track, and they're doing really good. And my stinker of the weekend, if you didn't look at my predictions for this weekend, I do a champion of the weekend, and I do a stinker of the weekend. And my stinker was Williams. And, well, Carlos Sainz in the pits, only 1 lap done. They're not off to a good start. Are they? Not off to a good start. He had no running in FP3 last weekend, or he had like limited running before he broke down. Then didn't even participate in qualifying, and then he ended up using the race as a basically test session. We're going to school in a few hours. Oof. Skies are clear, no chance of rain. No, Stroll is sad. It's just insane. Still no live speedometer, which is a shame. Lots of yellows. Well, lots of times being deleted for yellows through turn 14, which is the hairpin. So Lewis Hamilton's back into the pit lane. He is. What's interesting is that there's no. Normally we get the little dots on the screen when they're even waiting in the pit lane, but there's nothing there. But Charles Leclerc closing up the gap slightly to George Russell, still half a second. But top speeds is still only 320 kilometers an hour that we've seen from Charles Leclerc down the round down into the speed trap. So it takes some great passion, to wake up this early in stream. Thank you, buddy. I love it. I absolutely love it. It's hard to wake up initially, but I love it. Yeah, and once I go live, I'm still tired, of course, but. Yeah, wouldn't want to be doing anything else. What is the super clipping estimate this time? Don't know. We really don't know. And I'm. Oh, hang on. We've got some speedos back. We don't know because we don't have live. We don't have the live speed at the moment because the transponders are playing about. So hopefully we'll know that in qualifying. Or maybe is it conspiracy? Maybe it's F1's way of hiding the super clipping effect. Maybe they don't want us to know. But we will find out the data somehow. It doesn't seem all that bad from the onboards. Yeah, I mean, I really can't tell. What is different about this racetrack compared to Albert Park, though, is that the regeneration here is a lot higher than at Albert Park. There's a lot more hard braking zones. And yeah, they've increased as well the energy recovery amount for this circuit. So it's now up to 9 megajoules, whereas Australia was 8.5, I think it was, or 8 megajoules. I think it was 8 megajoules, something like that. So there is more regen available. So hopefully, yeah, it won't be as dramatic. But I can't imagine that there wouldn't be some effect. Yeah, I can't imagine that there wouldn't be some super clipping down that down that back straight, because we saw how quickly it deployed and emptied in Bahrain, and that start-finish straight at Bahrain is shorter than this back straight at Shanghai. So, do I think that Merck is hiding more power to avoid the Aldo for rivals? Yes, that's potentially a reason. I hope not. Really, I don't know. I do think at Albert Park, I think they did just go into management mode of the race. You have to remember that these drivers still, but there's still a limited amount. There's still a limited amount of allocation that these engines and batteries have for this year. George Russell is already on his second battery, and they only have 2 to use all year. So you could be guaranteed that George Russell is going to have a 10 grid place penalty at some point this season. How much of a penalty that would actually be, because of the advantage that the top teams have over the rest of the field, but there is going to come a point. And if you're Mercedes last week at Albert Park, as soon as you saw that Ferrari, you had that gap over Ferrari in the race, there's no need to push and go and finish 20, 30, 40 seconds ahead, because like obviously you have those concerns about the development rule, and you just have to manage your components, really. So the transponder issue causing cars to jump off the track reminds me of Mario Kart. they're really getting into it, aren't they? Do I think Mercedes is faster than they let on? Oh my God, Lando Norris doing Tokyo Drift there, by the way. It was opposite lock. Doing opposite lock through turn 6 there. Turn 6 is really catching the drivers out. It really is. I wonder if the wind direction there is just like it's downhill braking into turn 6. As soon as that, as I said earlier on, as soon as we see the transition from the rear wing closing there from multiple teams, we see them locking up and going round on there. So, yeah, turn 6 causing a lot of issues at the moment. Is it turn 1? I thought it was turn 6. I mean, the TV camera angle is a little bit. TV camera angles are a bit misleading. Good morning, Natish. Good to see you. George Russell getting the rear stepped out a little bit as well, as he was on a bit of a push lap. So at the moment, it is George Russell fastest, Charles Leclerc second fastest. 2.5 tenths, not too bad, guys, not too bad. Lewis Hamilton is now on a brand new set of softs. He did have a spin earlier, didn't really get any running on those mediums. So how will that affect him for this weekend and the sprint race tomorrow? Important data and information lost for him because he would have had flat spotted tyres. Oscar Piastri, of course, looking to actually start a race for the first time this season after what happened in Australia on the outlap, on the recon lap. Crashing there at his home, in front of his home crowd. But let's see how Lando's gone into the pit. So whenever someone comes into the pits, they just fly off screen. I'll tell you what, the TV coverage, by the way, the TV director, quite clever. They're not staying on board. They're not staying on board when drivers. You're not staying on board drivers when they make their way down the back straight. So they're intentionally not showing the super clipping. Oh, so apparently, the Speedo hasn't updated itself, by the way, guys. Yeah, we do have issues with the speedometers, but I think F1 has blocked the live data for Speedos. I really do. George Russell has hit a top speed of 339 kilometers an hour. Whereas on my Speedo, I only have Antonelli fastest with 321. So Ferrari has got the flip-flap rear wing on. Yes, they do indeed. Aussie's on the chat request, David. No mention of Piastri at Albert Park. Thank you in advance. I will try to. There will be inevitable reference to it. But Lewis Hamilton is on a set of soft compound tyres. We'll see how he fares. Fastest in the first, fastest in the second for him. But not fastest overall. So still not overly pushing. That first sector is 7 tenths off, by the way. The medium compound tyre is going to be an important tyre here this weekend. It's going to be used a lot. It is a race tyre. It is going to be the tyre that is used for the sprint race. It's going to be a tyre that's used in the race on Sunday. So it's not a tyre that they want to just chew through when it comes to the practice sessions. Did I read F1 deleting negative comments about the regulations? I did indeed. Yeah, I don't get the purpose of that. You're not going to achieve anything because people can unhide them, and you're just going to get more traction online. I mean, look, Matt and Tommy are the largest creators out there for F1, and they flagged it. And look how many views they get. I mean, just own up and just admit, like, you're going to get more. I get, obviously, people, they're doubling down when it comes to the overtake graphic. It was very typical of them. But also acknowledge that these regulations aren't perfect. Yes, it's too early to say that they're a complete disaster, but there's nothing wrong with holding your hands up and saying, yeah, look, the race was a lot more entertaining, but there's clearly some things that we need to address. Simple as. You'll get more respect that way. So, the new Halo graphic onboard. Did you not see that last time, Taco? The problem is we're not going to see that many onboards down the start-finish straights, or just down the straights in general, because they'll want to hide the clipping. Which, from the outboard shots, you can't actually see. So from a viewing perspective, if you're a viewer and you're not looking at the live data and stuff, if they don't show the onboard and show that, and you don't hear that quite noticeable pull up in speed, then you're not going to, I mean, as a viewing perspective, it's not going to be changed. But we know, don't we? Max is looking for mushrooms, yeah. Cards. If Ferrari stays consistent with P3, P4 finishes after the 1st of June, they can catch up as the engine won't be that powerful. Potentially. We don't know. We don't know. Just because this new test is going to come in about measuring the compression ratio at operating temperatures. It's not even at operating temperatures. It's just at a higher temperature. Or is it around 130 degrees? Whereas an engine probably, I mean, I think an engine operates like double the temperature of that. So they may still pass it and they may still have that advantage. But yeah, I mean, if Ferrari are the second fastest team for the majority of the season, or at least the halfway point, yeah, maybe they will be able to make gains elsewhere. And there are going to be circuits where the energy deployment maybe isn't like shorter circuits and it isn't that essential, and they're able to win the street circuits and so forth, which are more tight and twisty, like the shorter circuits. Because it is widely regarded at this early stage of the season. I mean, we only have one weekend to go upon, one race, but Ferrari has the best aero package and chassis. Titan, I have one favour. You can try to bring the battery percentage to in front of their lap time. It will be more interesting. There is no... That isn't available right now, is it? They're not showing the battery percentage. We don't have that information. I would absolutely love that information to have that information to hand, but we don't have access to that state of charge. We only have the F1 are only choosing to at selective moments to display that to us in the TV coverage. From a live data perspective, we don't have access to that yet, which is a real shame. Thanks, Taco. Yeah, this is nice. This one. It's actually a hoodie. It's actually a hoodie. So it looks like a shirt, but it is a hoodie. So not that I'll ever wear the hood up, but it is nice. Same as the Red Bull one as well. It's Castor. As I was never aware of them until kind of like a year ago when I realised they made a lot of sports teams kits. I was like, where have they come from? So they're embarrassed about the state of charge. They are, Joe. I think it's not even necessarily embarrassing. And what they don't like, or what they don't want to do, it's the teams. The teams, I think, appealed against having the state of charge readily available to viewers, because it means everyone will be all the teams will be able to see the state of charge. But the thing is as well, ignorance is bliss. And I think when it comes to the race last week, and I said this on the Missed Apex podcast last night, I think the viewing experience was enhanced by not knowing the battery, the state of charge of the battery, because people will look at it and just see that there was changes of position. And while personally, I'd like to see the state of charge because it's important to the overall overall understanding of what is a valid overtake and so forth. Casuals, or just people who just watch the TV coverage, knew, maybe some who knew more about the regulations than others knew, okay, it's probably to do with the battery, but it's not. Less information meant that people were able to probably enjoy it more and probably enhance the experience. Whereas if people were told, oh, you can clearly see that overtake didn't mean much because George had run out of battery and Charles had more battery, would devalue it. So do I agree with what Russell said about Ferrari? Was he just being greedy? What with the race starts? No, I don't agree with what George is saying about Ferrari being selfish with changing the race starts. I mean, come on, guy. You've got the fastest car on the grid. And Ferrari brought this point up ages ago about the race starts being a potential issue. You all vetoed it and said, there's nothing to worry about. So Ferrari went away and said, fine, we'll make a car to accommodate the race start procedure. They did that, got an advantage, and now they want to move. All the teams want to move the goalposts because they realise, oh, we're at a disadvantage. There's a safety concern. Like, how about you just get better with your cars and understanding your cars and ensure that your cars don't stall on the grid? Like, simple as. There was only one car that stalled-ish on the grid last week, and that was Liam Lawson. So, yes, Franco Colapinto, great reactions, and that could quite easily have been a big crash on the race start. But just because one car stalls on the grid doesn't mean that you should change all of the whole race start procedure. Like, there's always been the possibility of cars stalling on the grid. So, no, you can't completely, like, redo the race start procedure. And also, if anything, it wasn't really the turbo spalling that was an issue. It was the battery that was the issue. Because if you actually watch the onboard of Lando Norris's start, he arguably gets as good of a start as Lewis Hamilton does. Charles Leclerc had the best start, but he arguably, his initial launch, the first launch phase, he actually gets as good of a start, and he's got a Mercedes engine in his car. So it wasn't an issue there. The issue for Mercedes and a lot of the drivers on the grid was that they weren't able to charge the battery on the formation lap. So they started with 0% battery, whereas Ferrari had 20% battery. So after that initial 50-kilometer phase, where the reason why Ferrari had such a better launch off of the line is because then the competitors is because they have a smaller turbo, as Oscar Piastri. As Oscar Piastri has had a snap into turn one as well, same as Lando Norris earlier on, which his engineer informs to him. So yeah, no, don't move the goalposts. Suck it up, Buttercup. But drivers are always going to try and gain every single advantage that they can. That's the aim of the game. So I don't hold, and George is very good at the PR game, and you're going to see that throughout this season. George won't mind being dragged through the comments on social media and so forth. He will do what it takes to get the rules changed, to basically win. George is very meticulous like that. So, Alonso's not working. 3 cars faster than Hamilton. Actually, only 1 car now. No, he's probably got high. He's probably had to change his. He's probably still got the same amount of fuel in the car as what he did with the mediums on earlier, but he had to switch off those mediums because he was on. Because he locked up and had a mini spin, a mini spin. He had a spin down into turn 6. So similar to what we saw from Max Verstappen last week, Colapinto did the same as well. As soon as you touch the brakes, the car's going round on itself. So we've seen that a couple of times already in FP1. But yeah, he's probably got high fuel still in that car, and he's just on the soft compound tyre now because those mediums would have been flat spotted. What happened to Lindblad? Just the engine cut out, really. It seemed to be a bit of smoke coming out of the engine. So that's the second Red Bull powertrain breakdown of this season. Are you limited to 1 battery pack in the car? 1 battery pack is in the car, yeah, but you're only allowed 2 across the season. And George Russell has already used 1. They put a brand new one in the car last week in Albert Park. So he's down to 1 remaining. Hey, Mary, doing very well, Frankie. What's up here with... What's up here with Oscar Isaac Hadjar? Did Isaac have a go? Funny that. No radio message from Isaac Hadjar when he locked up down into turn 6 with Lewis Hamilton out of his way. But obviously, Lewis Hamilton, Isaac Hadjar's hero. No complaints there from Isaac to Lewis. And what happened here as well? Gabriel Bortoletto. Oh, we are seeing a few snaps through turn 1. We're seeing a few snaps through turn 1. A very unique corner here. Very fast entry speed. Highly loaded corner. And, well, if that wind direction changes in particular, we are seeing those cars on the absolute limit through turn 1. And we've seen a few snaps through there. None of the streams showing speed. Yeah, it's a Formula 1 issue. We've got transponder issues, to be honest. I think I am obviously I'm a very cynical and conspiratorial person, guys. You'll realise as you get older in life, for you youngsters out there, you get more cynical as you get older, and we have movements. We have movements. I can see Lando Norris's speedometer move in. It's back. Oh no, and now it's stopped. Okay. I was getting very cynical and saying that basically they've turned off the speedometers of it. We don't get to see the super clip in. And we don't get to see the drop off in speed down the back straight. But Hamilton certainly seems more competitive than versus Leclerc this year. Good to see. Yeah, I mean, he definitely has the bit between his teeth, doesn't he? It seems like. And he was the most positive I have seen Lewis Hamilton in a very, very long time, since 2021, really, because yeah, these cars do, as people were predicted, do seem to suit his driving style more. They're slightly lighter, slightly smaller, and the aerodynamics, obviously, in the way the car functions for the corners. And this is the kind of sad thing, really, about these regulations, is that of course, all the talk has been about the battery and the power distribution, but these cars are actually really, really good aerodynamically. They're exactly what we want from Formula 1 cars, and so do the drivers. But it's just the power distribution that is, unfortunately, getting all the headlines, understandably. And if we did have the engine of last year, of the last few seasons, where we had the MGUH, then we would actually be the regulations would be pretty good, pretty perfect. So. You have a question, Kleiner. What does speed mean in the table? And by the way, I'm surprised that Antonelli is a bit behind. They're all doing run plans at the moment. We'll see them come into the pits. 15 minutes, in the next couple of minutes, you're going to see drivers make their way into the pit lane. We just saw George Russell was in the pits, Antonelli, Leclerc. They're going to start sticking on some softs, and we're going to see some quali runs, because we have sprint quali in a few hours' time. And there is only 1 hour practice available here today and this weekend. But the Speedo is supposed to track how fast they're going at all areas. It's supposed to be a live speed trace, basically. But there is an issue with the transponders. You can see when anyone decides to enter the pits, they shoot off screen. And there's clearly a live positioning data issue at the moment at Shanghai. So hopefully that will be fixed for qualifying. Hamilton has new softs. Yeah, he will do. No, he's not come out on new softs. He looks like he just dived into the pit lane, maybe for a little tweak somewhere on the front wing, maybe. The funny wing, yeah, the funny rear wing, the flip-flap rear wing is on the car, so we'll see how effective it is here this weekend. There's transponder issues at the moment, so I apologise if live data is a little bit intermittent, which it seems to be. But we've got the sector times working, thankfully, so you can see their current sector times. You can see what they did in their last lap, and you can see if they're on their best lap. Oh, sorry, yeah. And if you want to know if they're improving or not on their best lap, Lance Stroll at the bottom as an example. If they've got a green sector, it means that it's faster than their best lap. If it's purple, it means that it's the fastest sector out of anyone today out on circuit. And if it's yellow, it means that it's slower. Hamilton's still struggling with deployment at the start of the lap, saying no power. Is he really, Connor? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Hopefully that's rectified, because that was a sticking block, wasn't it, that's caused them to have issues in qualifying last week, and that's why that gap was so dramatic. That gap is definitely not 8 tenths to Mercedes, guys, so do not fear. But going to Max Verstappen, will he get in any better position? In this session, yes, probably, when it comes to a push lap, which we'll probably, I imagine we'll see at some points in the last 15 minutes, 10 minutes or so. But it's only practice. But I'd be very surprised if they don't do a push lap. But I expect Red Bull to be better here this weekend than they were at Albert Park. And look, we won't ever truly know where Max could have put that Red Bull because of where he qualified, because of the Turn 1 incident in Q1. So, yeah, he did get stuck behind Norris when he eventually caught up to him. But that was on different tyres at the time. Very different stage of the race. So, yeah, I'm intrigued to see whether... I think the Red Bull is probably quicker than the McLaren right now. But you just don't know. Fernando 2.5 seconds off on a quali sim. Yeah, that Aston Martin still not great, is it? I mean, Aston Martin will want that five-week break that we potentially will be having. Of course, still not confirmed that Bahrain and Saudi will be cancelled. There did seem to be some chatter from people overhearing Isaac Hadjar and Kimi Antonelli on their flight to Shanghai that the 2 races have been cancelled. It's been communicated to the drivers and teams, but not to us as fans yet. So I don't know if that's true or not, or if that's just a rumour. But I would. It's highly likely. Just looking, all you need to do is just turn on the news, really, just to see. But yeah, I can't imagine F1 is going to be going to those countries anytime soon. Do I think Verstappen P1, P2, or P3 in quali? I really couldn't tell you. But what we do have is we have George Russell and Kimi Antonelli on a brand new set of softs. So here we go. Some push laps here. Some quali sims in the closing stages of this FP1 session. Only 1 hour practice for them available here this weekend, as it's a sprint race weekend. We have sprint quali in a few hours. And then we go... Oh, I'll be doing the sprint race this time tomorrow. Oh, just already the thought of that is hurting my brain. And then we have qualifying at 7 a.m, I think it is, or 7:30 in the morning, and then we have the race on Sunday. So, oh, yellow in the pit lane. There's a yellow in the pit lane. Don't know if you can see that there, guys, on the race control there. Waiting to see TV coverage to see why there is a yellow in the pit lane. And it's one of the Alpines. I can't tell if that's Gasly or if that is Colapinto, but one of the Alpines has come to a standstill in the pit lane. It's Franco Colapinto. He's put his visor up and something has gone wrong in that Mercedes engine. And there's a yellow flag through turn 14 that's just been removed. So I think Fernando Alonso just probably locked up there as the Alpine mechanics rush down the end of the pit lane to collect Franco Colapinto, who couldn't even make it back to his grid slot or his pit lane, his garage. Pit lane is now clear. So, let's stay on board with George Russell, shall we? As he's on a push lap here. So he makes his way round turn 4. Straight mode activated as he makes his way down into the downhill braking zone of turn 6. He's done a 24.3 in that first sector. The fastest we have seen today. A 10th quicker than his teammate who did the same, who did do a 24.4 in the first sector. So makes his way now through the twistier middle sector. Tyres take a bit more hurt through here. More hard braking zones down into that short left-hander of turn 9, then straight into turn 10, then another straight mode activated here down into turn 11, all the while regenning, and it's a sub 28 seconds in that middle sector, the first one we have seen today. Now round through turn 12, leaning on that front left tyre there, and then DRS. I said DRS. Oh, God, I said DRS. I said it, guys. Active aero, straight mode activated as that Mercedes power unit starts to deploy down into turn 14. And what is the sector time going to be when he crosses the line? As Lewis Hamilton is on used softs at the moment. Charles Leclerc is out now as well, and he's on a push lap. We'll keep an eye on Charles. Kimi Antonelli seems to have had a slow first sector, but his second sector is much better, sub 28 as well, as Charles Leclerc does a 24.6 in the first sector. It's a 32.8 for George Russell, fastest across the board, first time sub 33. Let's see how Kimi Antonelli gets on. So yeah, he's a bit behind here. He's a couple of attempts down because of a 24.5 in the first sector. I don't know where that was lost. So here we go, Kimi Antonelli around the last corner. How is Charles Leclerc getting on? Well, he's done a 28.2 in the middle sector, so not particularly quick for him. As Antonelli goes fastest in the last sector, 40.4, and goes P2 there. So Charles Leclerc now. Let's stay on board with Charles Leclerc. How quick can he go down the back straight? Not getting the speedos at the moment, unfortunately. Down into turn 14. So interestingly, they did stay on board with George Russell on a TV direction there and showed his speed down the back straight, but we didn't get to see the overall speed. But as Leclerc is 8 tenths off. Surely not. Surely not. No, surely not. Ferrari sandbagging. Ferrari sandbagging. The cars are flying off into outer space when they come into the pit entrance. Yeah, it's a transponder issue. Has Lewis got issues 5 slow laps in a row? No, he hasn't got issues. Well, he may have battery deployment issues. Morning, Mark. Good to see you. Catching us at the end here. In 2014 all over again. It's 2014 all over again until June kicks in. I don't know. I don't know. I'm hoping not. I'm hoping not. We'll see. We'll see. Oh, what just happened with Lewis? On board with Lewis, coming around the last corner. Did he take a bit of an excursion there? Not really. I don't know why they were showing Lewis going for the last corner. I mean, it didn't look out of control or anything. Did he dip a wheel? Not at the moment, no. Not really. Tyres are gone. I think, yeah, they're just saying on Sky that his tyres are probably gone. 13 laps is a lot for these soft tyres. Which bodes well, I guess. There will be some degradation, hopefully. 13 laps on softs is what you'd expect a soft tyre to be able to do. It's what it should do. We shouldn't be able to see drivers take a soft tyre ridiculous lengths. So, right. So, multiple drivers out on brand new sets of softs now. We're seeing George Russell go again. He's done a 24.4 in the first sector, and he's gone quicker in the middle sector. So, George Russell at the moment about still a little bit behind, really. It's only a couple of hundredths quicker in that middle sector. But we'll see how he fares down the back straight. Liam Lawson on push lap. Kimi has improved in that first sector as well. There we can see the green sector time. Pierre Gasly, the sole Alpine out there after Franco Colapinto broke down in the pit lane. As Lewis Hamilton on the radio says, give me a plan. I don't know where I am in the session. So Lewis Hamilton not really probably going to get a proper full push lap in here because they don't want to eat through an extra set of soft tyres. So that's because of that lock up earlier on as George Russell improves again with a 32.7. Kimi Antonelli though, coming down to turn 14. Or is he going to be overtaken by Ollie Behrman there? Oh, no, Nico Hulkenberg, sorry. So here we go. Kimi Antonelli around the last corner. What can he do? Green in the first. Green in the second. Can he get ahead of his teammates? Ooh, no. 43.7 last sector. So they're very slow. Not sure why he backed off. Hey, Levi, good to see you. Just joined How is the Super Clipping? We don't know because we don't have the live speed data, which is a shame. Much better communication. That's refreshing to see. Yeah, that was very clear and concise. The information that came through from the engineer, Lewis Hamilton's temporary engineer, Kimi Raikkonen's former race engineer. But yeah, he's definitely on a different run plan because of a spin earlier on in the session, which meant he killed his medium tyres. So he's had to go on the soft tyre a lot earlier, and that soft tyre is dead pretty much. So he's not going to go and stick a brand new set of softs on because it will leave him. It will compromise his whole race weekend. So, because you've got to use softs, of course, still in qualifying. You're going to use them in Q2 and Q3. You're going to use them in Q3 when it comes to the sprints qualifying as well. So, yeah, you'll leave yourself at a detriment there. Lewis is still improving in the middle sector. Not really. Not really. Those tyres are starting to give out. Lando Norris up to P4, but 9.5 tenths off of George Russell. Oof. Of course, news in the week that McLaren not happy about the level of information they've been getting from Mercedes about their engines. I do believe that Ferrari could gain the lead from the start as they did in Melbourne. Yeah, definitely. Unless Ferrari strategy starts again. So, Sergio Perez has done 13 laps on the mediums. Stroll has done a few more laps than we expected. Carlos Sainz now out there doing more laps after he's had spent most of this session in the pit lane. What's up with the RBs? Don't know. Why not switch to his 7-age soft tyres? Because they are the same set of tyres. What that indicates is that he came into the pit lane and then he came out. So he probably went in for just like a front wing change. And then once he made his way through the pit lane, it then indicates that they are now used tyres and not brand new tyres. So it's basically at the moment Ferrari and Merc, yeah. But we don't know the overall pace. I mean, Ferrari... I mean, it is a little concerning, I'm not going to lie, that Ferrari are only 8.5 tenths off. I say only, are 8.5 tenths off with Charles Leclerc. You would expect them to still be a bit closer when it's coming to a full push lap, but maybe they are still not really proper pushing that Ferrari right now. But the Mercedes are pushing it kind of every single lap, because Kimi's just gone quickest out of everyone in that first sector. Max 1.8 seconds behind. Ooh, 1.8 seconds behind. I mean, it's quite a large margin, isn't it? So this whole season is a test day for Cadillac. Yeah, it's a test season for them. They just need to finish, at the moment, for it to be a positive weekend for Cadillac, they just need to keep all parts attached to the car. If you saw Albert Park, the race at Albert Park in Melbourne, yeah, they had things falling off of their car. Even due to no contact, so. Piastri up to P3. There you go, Aussie fans. There you go, Aussie. Something to cheer about. Hello, he's done 15 or 22 laps on the soft. He's done 15 laps on the softs. So the lap, where it says laps, that's the overall amount of laps. And then the number next to the tyre is how many laps they have done on that tyre. So I know what you mean. Where it says 7 laps on the softs, that's how many he did before he went back into the pit lane. As I said, probably just for a front wing angle change, something of the like, a quick tweak. And then he came out of the pit lane, which then indicates that he's not made a pit stop, but he's made his way through the pit lane, and then it's indicated as a used tyre. So he's done 15 laps overall on that tyre, and then 22 laps overall because he did 7 laps on the medium. Not expecting Red Bull to be competitive here. Their braking stability and low speed performance was poor at Melbourne. I don't know. I expected them to be a bit better. I mean, they should slot in. I mean, I still think they'll do better than what they did. But, I mean, it's not going to be in comparison, is it, to what probably Ferrari and definitely Mercedes are going to be able to achieve. So, what are the odds that even Aston does a full race? I think it could be likely. I mean, actually, no. I'm going to take that back. I'm taking that back because I just remembered they finished 15. Lance Stroll did finish the race, but he was 15 laps down. Because he technically partly retired and then unretired his car in the middle of the race. As did Fernando Alonso as well, actually. But then they did eventually retire Fernando Alonso's car. Have Lance drive the first half and finish the race, yeah. So, with 2.5 minutes remaining, George Russell is quickest. Shock, horror, 132.7. Kimi Antonelli at 32.8. Piastri at 33.4. Just over 7 tenths back. Charles Leclerc, 8.5 tenths back in 4th. Lando Norris, 9.5 tenths back in 5th. Lewis Hamilton, 1.4 tenths back. Nearly 1.5 tenths back, basically. But his run plan has been completely interrupted here because of a big spin. I'm saying big lockup, like big flat spots into turn 6. And then Ollie Behrman in 7th, Max Verstappen 8th, a Haas ahead of Max Verstappen. Nico Hulkenberg in 9th. Hopefully he'll be able to compete in the race here this weekend. Gasly 10th, Lawson 11th. I mean, the field spread from Sainz up to George Russell is 3 seconds, isn't it? And then you got then you're talking the Aston Martins and Cadillac, who we know are well off the pace. So Charles Leclerc, 2 tenths off the fastest time in the middle first sector. He's on this lap. He's 3 tenths off in the middle sector. So, can Williams make inroads this year? They definitely can, yeah. So they, Williams can, because I think they can make some. They can find some immediate performance. Williams, because they are overweight. So by being overweight, that automatically, and being able to remove that, of course, it needs to. You can't just arbitrarily remove weight. It will have the weight for a reason, because of extra cooling and things like that. But that is immediate performance that they can gain just by getting down to the minimum weight limit. Whereas I think I heard Alpine are at the weight limit already. So for them, it's very different. They have to find performance elsewhere, and it's more difficult for them. So yeah, I expect Williams to definitely get quicker, and McLaren as well, because they are clearly having difficulties. Oh my goodness. Charles Leclerc, big excursion through the gravel out the last corner. That's not going to do any good to your floor, Charles, at the end of this session. Come on, mate. Come on. Watching the replay here, what did he do there? We've seen a few people dip a wheel, but that is the most we've seen anyone go off there. Oh, yeah. Double. Had his hands crossed there as the rear stepped out on him. Ooh. I mean, it's very picturesque, but that's not going to do any good to the underside of the floor. Ah, Lando! That's a bit more positive, Lando. Half a second off. 5.5 tenths off. I mean, it's still 5.5 tenths, but yeah, I think with McLaren and with Williams, there is... I don't know if McLaren's overweight, but with Williams, they can find performance by just shedding some weight. And both of the McLaren and McLaren and Williams will find performance when they gain an understanding of the Mercedes power unit. Because the positive for them is that they can look at Mercedes and go, okay, well, we've got the same power unit. We should be able to replicate that. However, while there have been complaints about maybe a lack of information being transferred to Mercedes and their customer teams, I think it's just a case of the relationship has now changed. They're now no longer not a competitor. They are competitors. So I think Mercedes are probably just giving them the bare minimum that they have to, as per the regulations, and as their contract with Mercedes. And it's like, okay, crack on now. It's time for you to stand on your own 2 feet, McLaren. We're not going to hold your hand when it comes to these engines, because it's a reset. They were obviously never going to win the constructors or win the Drivers' Championship, Mercedes, so they probably maybe assisted McLaren a bit more when it came to their engines. But with this, they're like, no, we're not doing that now. How much does floor damage impact this regulation cycle? Good question. I can't put a number on it, but not as much as what the ground effect era would have done. But it's still not good. Still not good. Change the Nightbot message to 80k. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. I changed it at the top right. Do we think Red Bull's sandbagging? No, I don't think they're sandbagging. I think that is genuine performance from them, unfortunately. But I don't take too much into the practice sessions. There is definitely still pace in that Ferrari, 100%. It bodes well that McLaren are a bit closer to Mercedes. We know Mercedes are always going to be the quickest. I'll show you the sector times in a second. But yeah, Hamilton had his run plan, didn't even do a push lap, really. His run plan was interrupted because of him having a spin akin to what Max Verstappen did at Turn 1 in Australia in Q1, which of course ended up with him in the barrier. Colapinto did the same as well, where as soon as they touch the brakes, the rear goes round on them. So that gave flat spots to his medium compound tyres, so he had to go onto the soft tyre early. And with it being a very long weekend, you don't just want to stick another set of softs on just to do a push lap. So Lewis will be a bit of a detriment, but it is a circuit, and by not having a push lap prior, Ollie Behrman had similar as well. Ollie Behrman got on the throttle and just spun the car out of turn 3. So, oh, he did that. Oh, my goodness. He did that right in front of an Aston Martin. And the Aston Martin nearly collected him. Wow. Yeah, right in front of Lance Stroll. Damn. This sort of circuit, I think we could see a few more spins in quali, you know. What are my predictions for the 2026 World Champion? George, I mean, George is the favourite for everyone. I did say, and obviously it's not looking good right now at this stage of the season, I did say Lando Norris. I said I stood by what I said is that I think with a Mercedes power unit in the back of their car and with McLaren being very, very well good, knowing very much so how to develop a car, they might not be the quickest at the start of the season, but expect them to be strong at points in the season or to catch up. But yeah, very wrong, probably very wrong. Connor, some CFD analysis by aerodynamics put the flaws of these cars making 45 to 55% of downforce down from about 70 in the previous generation. Thank you for that information. There you go. Yeah, so yes, less emphasis on the aero through the underside of the floor, which is much more positive. It's why the cars are able to not be as planted for the corners, and it makes it to be a bit more exciting. And that's where the aero package and the aero regulations in particular have made a positive step in the right direction. But the power units is obviously different. So yeah, don't change anything with the power unit. How confident am I with my fantasy league predictions? I don't know. I'm keeping it still. I'm still banking on the Ferrari power units. We'll see. Am I sure it's not a 90-minute session? No, the clock has run down. It's not 90 minutes. They've just done a practice start, and that's what they're all coming around to do, is do a practice start, and then they'll make their way into the pit lane. Not many Haas fans here, and if they have a bad quality, they won't blame you. My volume is very soft. It's by design. I'm trying not to be as harsh through the ears. Yes, sorry, sector. I'll show speed traps and sector times afterwards. I mean, the speed traps aren't necessarily... Oh, they're updated now, so I'll show you in a second. But what we have here, the sector times, shock horror, Mercedes quickest across the board. Lando Norris third fastest in the first sector. Hamilton third fastest in the middle. So that bodes well, by the way. Middle sector, where we expect the Ferrari to be strong in the middle sector. I mean, after Albert Park, the Ferrari, I don't know if you saw the traces, the Ferrari was quickest in pretty much all of the corners, other than maybe turn 9 and 10, which was, of course, where obviously the power output matters more so than cornering ability. But the middle sector bodes well that Hamilton there did a 28.099, so just about a tenth off of George Russell and Antonelli. And then the last sector, obviously, a lot of power. Understandably, Russell and Antonelli quickest, but McLaren catching up a bit there. And then the speeds, well, Mercedes definitely not sandbagging here. They've just gone straight out for it. 335 kilometers an hour for George Russell at the end there. Kimi Antonelli 332, the fastest when it comes to the speed trap. And you can see Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc. You can see that Hamilton did a 316, Charles Leclerc 320. So that also shows that they're not properly got the engine turned up, I would say, or doing what they can, or higher fuel loads, because Lando Norris, Hamilton, like, we know that they can get up to 330, 340. We saw 344 from Franco Colapinto in Albert Park, so, and it seems that the live data is now coming through. Convinced Ferrari were running more fuel this session. Not sure what was up with Lewis engine Sector 1, though. Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, the speeds indicate that. 316 for Lewis, 320 for Charles. We know that they can get up to 330. Easy. What if Max is put in a 2025 and waiting until mid-season to perform? Maybe. The development's going to be very key here this season. Very, very key. So just because they're quick at the start of the season doesn't mean that they're going to be the quickest, like, come the end of the season or halfway through the season. You think Verstappen should let drivers have a head start? Yeah, maybe. Can we get Kimi World Drivers' Championship next year? We could get a Kimi World Drivers' Championship this year as well. Never know. He's definitely in one of the fastest cars right now, isn't he? So from this stat, can we say Red Bull faster on corners and Mercedes and Ferrari on straights? Not necessarily, but what you can take from it is just how the teams do things differently with their run plans in practice. Of course, with this being only an hour long as well, some of the teams may have focused fully on their race pace and wanting to get kind of information on higher fuel for the sprint race and the race on Sunday, more so than focus on their qualifying. And that may be what Ferrari have decided to do, maybe what Red Bull have decided to do, rather than take fuel out of the car. They're like, okay, let's gather the information that is let's gather the information that is relevant to where we score points. And with the race starts and everything at the moment, your qualifying position, unless you qualify down the back of the grid like Max did, which was obviously due to an error. If the top 8 teams, so it's the top 4 teams, the top 8 cars are most likely going to lock out the front 8, like the top 4 rows, the top 8 positions, if there's no shenanigans at play. So for them, qualifying may not be absolutely essential this year, at this stage of the season anyway. And then it's more so focusing on your launch and then focusing on what you can do in the actual race than your quali performance. So, Connor, Red Bull is slowest of top teams in corners. Well, there you go. Sorry, Red Bull fans. Sorry, and you can't blame it on the Red Bull top because I'm wearing Haas. If Byrne was in Hamilton's car, he would win this thing. Down now, it's only the first practice session. Quali will reveal who's up to what. Yeah, exactly. And I just think that there is... Look, Melbourne was exaggerated in relation to the overall single lap performance difference. Yes, Mercedes are quickest, but that 8 tenths to Ferrari was definitely not the case. Ferrari had battery issues, same as McLaren really as well, because they had battery deployment issues. I'd be interested to see if that happens again here this weekend, especially if we do have an interrupted qualifying sessions, because supposedly with the machine learning, it interrupted how it was learning the racetrack and where the optimum area of deployment was, and it started deploying it in different areas that the drivers didn't expect, and just left them without battery in the straights and the areas that they needed it. So they were just bleeding lap time, and hopefully they've fixed that, because I've got a suspicion that with what we've just seen in the early stages of practice there, we're going to see drivers, and with even just like the entry speed and the twitches that we've seen in turn 1, I think sprint quali earlier on is going to be a little bit interrupted, to say the least. I think we are still, unfortunately, going to get a car that goes round on itself. Maybe brings it, maybe not crash, because there's a lot more runoff areas here than there is at Albert Park, of course, because that technically is a street circuit. We will see drivers probably spin and go round on themselves, just like we saw in the early stages of FP1 here, with that regen, the deployment to the rears and them going round on themselves. So, yeah, I think that unfortunately will get in the way of things. Who do I think is going to get pole? I'm under no impression that it will probably be a front row lockout for Mercedes, but I think the gap will be a lot closer than people suspect between Ferrari and Mercedes. Maybe even McLaren. Maybe not. I still think they don't understand the engine. I think it will be Ferrari seconds, locking out maybe the second row, and then who knows? We know what the race starts are like, eh? Honda should replan their engines as soon as possible. Well, speaking of Honda and speaking of Aston Martin, I don't know what was discussed. I don't know. You can make of it of what you will. And it may just be two business acquaintances just talking to each other. However, I have heard a whisper that at Albert Park, Lawrence Stroll, after the race, spent a few hours with Toto Wolff and the Mercedes engine department, or representatives of the Mercedes engine department. Make of that what you will. Of course, previous relationship that they have. Maybe Lawrence Stroll was just trying to. Maybe they were just having a glass of bubbly after the race, congratulating Mercedes. Commiserations to obviously the Honda partnership with Aston Martin. Or maybe they were talking more serious business. But that's a whisper that I heard. Do you think Lewis, George and Leclerc get in 1, 2, 3? Potentially. Maybe not in that particular order. But I think, look, Antonelli seems to be on it here compared to George's pace at the start. Although I'm looking at George's replay, by the way. Multiple car corrections through turn 1. So don't rule out maybe. I mean, that McLaren isn't completely supreme. It's not like there's one steering input into turn 1. That car is twitchy through turn 1, although every car is at the moment. So if they're on the limit through turn 1, they very well could have a moment. So Honda with other teams and Honda with McLaren and Aston here. Ferrari are getting smoked in quali because they normally show more in practice than other teams. I'm not so sure, Cryptic. I'm not so sure. I think they were focusing definitely on their long runs. We didn't see a proper push lap from Lewis. He was on much higher fuel. His run plan was interrupted due to that spin earlier on, which was, I think, not due to his mistake. We saw it with Colapin, so we saw it with Max last week, just where as soon as they touch the brakes and it just goes, the car goes round on itself. That flat spotted his tyres, and it meant that he had to use softs for the majority of the session, and he didn't want to stick a brand new set on because it's a long weekend. You need to use a set of softs in SQ3. You need to use them in Q1, Q2, Q3. So, yeah, you don't want to just use a brand new set of softs to do a push lap in practice when it doesn't matter. So, why is Verstappen not up there? It's too early to say, but probably not going to be fighting it for pole position, guys. I feel like this season has been decided by Mercedes. Already hope it's a long season. If you've been watching F1, I still don't think this is 2014 levels because of what we saw, of course, with very different types of regulations, and from what we saw in in the first race of the season. It may be that at the moment, at this stage of the season, that yeah, Mercedes dominate qualifying, but when it comes to the race, it's a bit different. You would love to watch an inter-team rivalry again. Last year was underwhelming and PR controlled. I missed the days of Vettel versus Webber, Rosberg versus Hamilton. How many race finishes are this weekend? I think we could see. I think we'll have 14 race winners. 14. That'd be a season, wouldn't it? 14 race winners. 14 cars. I think. I think we'll see similar amount. I think we'll see more retirements than what we saw in Albert Park, purely because it's a different circuit. So yeah. Oh, great! Jacques Villeneuve is back for Sky Sports this weekend. Great. Looking forward to his insightful opinions. But anywho, there we go, guys. That is it for FP1. I'm going to go get some very limited amount of rest that I can between now and qualifying. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for all the subscribers, by the way. Much appreciated. And we will be back, yes, in a few hours' time for Sprint Quali. I'll be live 15 minutes beforehand. I won't be live just a few minutes. I'll be live 15 minutes before Sprint Quali. Remember, SQ1 is on the medium tyre, SQ2 on the medium tyre, and SQ3 is on the soft compound tyre. So, going to be an interesting one. Unsurprisingly, Mercedes look the quickest, but we haven't seen probably the true pace of the Ferrari yet. And yeah, we will see how it gets on from there. So thank you, guys. Have a lovely couple of hours wherever you are in the world, and we'll see you in a few hours. I'm going to end the stream, and it's going to take you right there. So hit that like button, and if you don't want to miss it, hit the notification button, and you'll be notified 30 minutes before I go live. We'll see you then. Bye.